Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Today, I rise about issues affecting young people and their future in our incredible province. Young British Columbians are the future of our province. We are incredibly fortunate to have such a highly engaged and educated population of young people who are committed to making this province a better place. We are also privileged to attract thousands of students every year to this province who come to British Columbia from across Canada and around the world to better themselves through post-secondary education. But together they drive innovation and research and contribute $22 billion to Canada's economy. In every community across this province, in every sector, we're facing a labor shortage. Over the next 10 years, this will only grow more challenging with over 1 million job openings expected. But behind every number, that is a doctor required, that is a healthcare professional, that is a childcare, early childhood educator, that are people that we require every single day in our communities. And the best way to address this shortage is through the many world-class post-secondary education institutions located around our province. They will help prepare the workforce to thrive in an environment of rapid change, demand for skills, and more frequent disruptions. Students are the key to BC's economic stability and will fuel our employment. And this age of disruption and transformational change, students are our best asset to moving forward. Skills are the backbone of a prosperous economy and a yardstick for a nation's ability to survive in a dynamic workplace. But in order to do this, Madam Speaker, the conditions have to be right. We are increasingly hearing from international students that they're concerned about being able to afford education in British Columbia. International students tuition has increased by 39% over the past 4 years. In 2017, the average international student tuition fee rate of a Bachelor of Arts degree at UBC was $28,000. By 2021, it had risen to more than $38,000. That's a $10,000 increase over 4 years. The unpredictability of international tuition is only one example of post-secondary education becoming increasingly unaffordable. Students, both domestic and international, are struggling to keep up with the rising costs of inflation and general affordability across this province. Full-time students often cannot make enough money through part-time and summer jobs to cover tuition and living expenses. And as rent and groceries prices increases, the number of students who experience food insecurity is increasing. Students are 3 times more likely to experience food insecurity than the general population, and this can have a long-term effect on students' lives and their ability to succeed. One study at UBC Okanagan found that 25% of food insecure students had to reduce their course load to afford tuition and living expenses. We have to do something about this. Just a few days ago, I spoke with representatives from the Alma Mater Society and the Graduate Student Society of the University of British Columbia. Their concerns mirrored the thousands of students across British Columbia as they brought to the table many important initiatives that they hope to see the government take on. They outlined their recommendations to expand the BC Student Loan Forgiveness Program, creating a third category for those working in healthcare to mitigate the labor shortage we face and incentivize more students to pursue those career paths. Further, like many in British Columbia, housing is a major concern for both domestic and international students. And the two societies are asking for consistent investments in the BC Student Housing Loan Program to ensure more on-campus housing. Housing costs are a major restriction for students, with many hoping to study in British Columbia having to rescind acceptances because of affordability issues. This is a major step backwards in our efforts to address the labor shortage, as students, when finished their programs, want to stay in British Columbia, but the barriers that exist cannot sometimes be overcome. The affordability challenges don't stop there. I recently sat down with the Alliance of BC Students, where they highlighted some of the major struggles that students continue to face that limit their ability to study in British Columbia. One of the major concerns highlighted was the levy known as the International Students' Health Fee. International students in British Columbia are currently paying $75 a month for MSP, and it is negatively impacting them, especially for international student families who have to pay extra fees for their children in addition to their own. This means children as young as 5-year-olds have medical debt in their name. The Alliance of BC Students asked to this government include eliminating international student contributions to the medical services plan. Many international students work part-time jobs and are being double charged for their health care fees through their employer health tax and the international student health fee. This is unfair and unjust for international students who also contribute billions to BC's economy every year and are subsidizing post-secondary education in BC by paying more than 4 times the domestic tuition fees. To international students, this feels very exclusionary and unjust, imposing even further costs on students who pay significantly more than domestic students. During a time in which BC is facing immense labor shortage, it is concerning that many international students do not feel welcome. It should concern this government that often students do not have the choice to stay and build a life in British Columbia due to unaffordability and disproportionate costs. We can and we must, and I hope we will do better for the students of British Columbia.